write this step-by-step article.
I read it,
showing people how to get set up on the testnet and stuff.
Yep, it worked for me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are live. I am the Crypto Crow. I'm here with Atrium founder BigPey. We've talked in the past about this big project that he's been working on, and he's like, hey, what's going on? What do you think of Atrium? I'm like, oh shit, I haven't even dove into it yet. And then I started messing around with it, and I'm like, hey, why don't we just have you on and you tell everybody what's going on? So welcome, BigPey. How you been, man?
I've been great. There's a lot of exciting things happening, around Cardano lately. The years of building is finally starting to add up, and the community's strong. And on top of Atrium, there's just so much happening now that it's hard to not wake up with excitement, for the future. How have you been doing?
I've been pretty good, man. Waiting for Rare Evo. Everybody keeps asking me if I'm going to Nashville, and I'm like, no. I go to maybe one or two of these events a year. I'm holding out. I haven't been to a Rare Evo event yet, and I'm excited about it. I'm nervous about the flight, like bad, but I'm gonna get through it.
You normally nervous about flights?
Hell yeah, man. I don't care if it's an hour or 4 hours or 5 hours. I'm trying to figure out how deep into a bottle of scotch I need to get before I get on this plane, and hope they have plenty more waiting for me when I'm on. So yeah, I'm a little nervous. I get real anxiety riddled and just kind of I don't want to do this. But,
yeah, it's I did that when I was
have to.
Yeah, and honestly, it's going to be one of the best events of this year. The two main ones I'm looking at least for the Cardano community, is Rare Evo and the Cardano Summit. They did a great job last year. The only thing that I'm nervous about is, as you mentioned, the flight. It's 16 hours, at least from Florida. It's too much.
Can't do it. Can't do it. No way. I'm not spending 16 hours on a plane. There's just no way in hell. But when I think about those that do that, I feel a little bit better about like a flight to Vegas. I'm like, this is nothing to most people. So, Poe man, deathly afraid of flying. Never done it. And I'm 46. You're 46, Poe man, and you've never flown. So, okay. So I'm going to tell you guys something. This is a trip. Before we get into this, I'm going to tell this story. So back in like 2017, 2018, I had somebody fly out to take my wife and I to dinner, and he was basically he wanted me to help a group of people manage money in crypto, and I was like, no thanks. A substantial sum, and I'm like, I'm not with it. But he was really cool, and I noticed he was drinking Macallan the whole time. He had like 5 of them while we were meeting. It didn't seem to faze them much. Let me try it. I'm like, okay, this is where I discovered Macallan for the first time. But he knew that I had a really big fear of flying. So what he did was, after the meeting, he sends me this book called Soar. And I started reading this thing, and it basically broke down every little nuance of flight, and how once an airplane's accelerated to a certain point, the wind keeps the plane in the air. The engines just keep it moving forward for the most part. And that most planes are designed to be able to glide if they have to. And he was talking about turbulence. The book was talking about turbulence, how, like when you're in a plane and you're doing this, that's just like a fraction of an inch worth of turbulent force that's basically hitting the plane. And it's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Read the book. It really did help me get more comfortable with flying. And then if you look at the radar of all of the planes in the air at one time, there's thousands of them. There's thousands of planes in the air all the time, all over the world. And it's just like the odds of something happening are pretty low, but it's always that what if factor that plays with my head. Like, well, what if I'm the one? I one time I got on a plane and my wife was like, how are you doing? How are you doing? And I'm like, I'm so wasted right now. It's like, I'm gonna laugh all the way to the impact zone. I just didn't give a shit at this point. It's like, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. So anyway, so I actually set up this testnet account, and like you said, with Atrium, it's atrium.io. There's a link in the description, and people on Twitter and YouTube are watching this now. And I'm like looking at this dashboard. So I set up the testnet account with an Eternal wallet, based off of a guide that I guess one of your people wrote. It made a lot of sense, helped me get through it really quick. I did it in like 3 minutes. And I've never set up a testnet account before. I've never done anything on testnets. So, and now I'm logged in. I'm gonna actually show this so that people can see what I'm doing here. So this is basically me logged into the Atrium Alpha testnet. And there's just this is a really slick looking interface for one. It's showing me the latest price. So it's trading at 44 cents right now. My staking. So if I were delegating my Cardano on this wallet, this would show me my stake, like where it's staked to, I assume, and maybe what's the metrics.
Yeah, and also kind of like previous epic rewards. Like it'll say, oh, you got 5 ADA on this epic. So it's kind of like a little chart that shows you each epic.
Oh, shit. That'd have been cool. Yeah, that's really slick. All right. Because yeah, I don't really see that on anything right now. And then it shows any NFTs that I have, and then it'll show my tokens. So any basic native asset tokens that I've got on the wallet would show up around here.
Exactly.
Okay. This is pretty slick, man. So outside of just this, like, you know, basically the details and the data and the holdings on that wallet, give me a breakdown, I guess, of what else is happening, what's coming. Yeah, I think this looks really cool. Tell me more.
Sure.
And keep in mind, folks, this isn't paid. He's not paying for this. Isn't like an advertisement or anything. This is just Cardano support lover supporting a Cardano supporter, like showing something cool that's being built. Like that's it. Like nobody's paying me. This is all just out of genuine interest and respect for BigPey. So just so you guys know.
Yeah, I actually messaged him last night about this. I said, hey, you know, have any time, you know, in the short future? And he said, come on tomorrow. So I do really appreciate that. And, you know, kind of the goal of Atrium and what it is, you know, after you introduced me to Cardano back in 2017, I've introduced a lot of people myself. I've spent time locally, you know, with people, and I've seen some of the pain points that they have. Crypto is a little complicated. So our goal is really to make Cardano easy. I have high hopes, you know, for the future of this ecosystem and crypto in general. And I think millions of new people are going to be coming into Cardano in the next year and a half. And what we've done is build a platform that kind of guides them through the, you know, the ecosystem. And, you know, this is the dashboard here. And what it does is it aggregates the various services that we use on Cardano into one platform that teaches you how to use it with easy motion graphic videos. We have about 24 videos done. We're going to be adding all of those and the education portal into the site in the next couple of weeks. And then on top of like making Cardano easy and aggregation, we've built 2 smart contracts. The first one is called staking baskets. Staking baskets allows you to delegate to over 100 Cardano stake pools at the same time, and you actually earn additional Cardano native tokens on top of your normal ADA rewards. You know, we're launching our first basket called Diffusion, and that's what you're looking at here. Diffusion actually delegates to 50 different single stake pool operators, and then you get the Atrium DAO token on top of your staking rewards for supporting 50 small businesses and decentralization. You know, you're also getting a different token on top of that, but anybody can create one of these baskets. You could come in and create a Crow basket that maybe rewards people with the Crow token. You're picking your own stake pools in there. Maybe it's just your stake pools, and it's going to allow users that come in to, you know, delegates all of these pools at the same time. And then we have a token rewarding framework built on top of it for basket creators. A great example of this is Dex Hunter. Dex Hunter's been doing really well lately. I think they normally sit about like 70% of all of the trading volume on Cardano. They're going to come in and create the Dex Hunter basket. They're going to support the 41 stake pools that actually help run Dex Hunter. And then people are going to get the Hunt token on top of their ADA rewards for supporting all 41 of those stake pools. And we do have another smart contract, but I'll get into that in just a second and you know, give you time for any questions.
So I forgot about the baskets because that was a really cool thing. So I could effectively create a stake pool of, I could create a basket of like Crow node, and basically any nodes that I know are ran, like Stake with Pride, I know is a big contributor to the Cardano community, basically, which so I could basically just cultivate a group of different nodes that I would love to support, create a basket, throw Crow tokens in the mix to basically just be an additional passive reward to the ADA. And then there's an additional reward on top of that for creating the basket that's being distributed to everybody staking to it.
Yes. It's one token per basket. I mean, somebody could do multiple tokens on one basket, but the Atrium DAO token is going to be baskets that are created by the Atrium DAO, whereas any other basket can be any token that someone's rewarding on top of it. So what we're going to have eventually is a basket ecosystem with all of these hundreds of different pools to support, with different tokens that are being rewarded on top of it.
Okay, I see. That's still pretty damn cool. So I can't create a basket where everybody's delegating to this one basket and getting their ADA, but like throwing Crow into as a bonus. It has to be one or the other.
You can do both. You get ADA plus Crow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I thought
just like an incentivized bonus, like stake to this basket, support all of these people, and you're going to get Crow token just because in addition to. Okay.
Exactly.
That sounds like a plan. Okay, go ahead. Ultimately, what I want to know is like, when is this officially launching? Like, when are we going to be able to use it?
I would say 2 to 3 months. Both of the smart contracts are already live right now. You can deposit into staking baskets right now. We launched the first test net about 3 months ago with the diffusion basket, and we had over 3,000 users come in and actually complete over 58,000 transactions. So, what you see right now is 95% of what's going to launch on Mainnet 2 to 3 months from now. What we're doing is just, getting a lot of user feedback, because we just launched our second test net with another airdrop hooked up to it for minting profile NFTs. And, our goal right now is really to build an audience and get user feedback so that we can deliver the best product to Mainnet. But it's coming this year, and I'm, pretty excited to say about 2 to 3 months away. And we've been at it for over a year and a half now. So we're getting there.
The thing is, man, is this looks so good. I mean, it kind of has like an Exodus wallet kind of feel to it. Like it's like a it's easy to understand like what you're looking at and why. Where I see so many crypto-based applications that really like the Eternal wallet. Like there's a lot of good data in the Eternal wallet, but it looks like somebody just threw a bunch of HTML text on a page with no formatting. There's just not a whole lot of structure to it. It's just like a vomit comet of data. This is like a lot of cool data and a lot of information, but it's all structured so damn well, man. Like whoever your AI or your UI guy is for this, or girl, whoever it is, like they did a really great job, because this looks really good. And it's very inviting. Like I want to use it. I want to look and see, I want to check everything. But since it's not live officially yet, it's limited. Like I want to go through my NFTs in here. I'm like, what do I have? And like, what other tokens do I? So that's really cool. So in a few months, so you're not planning to launch it at Rare Evo, huh?
No, a part of me wants to, like that was kind of the goal. But we wanted to get the education portal in because it's such a, big part of our mission. So we're trying to fit that in there. We also want to add more, profile levels. Essentially, our second smart contract, it allows you to mint a profile NFT that you can send assets to. So you can send, money to @Crow instead of typing in a long address. And you get this image and this profile that you can actually level up from engaging with Cardano projects on chain and on social media. So we've got a bunch of levels out there right now, a bunch of rewards. You can mint the NFT right now. But what we'd like to add is a bit more levels, a bit more challenges, and kind of gamify that a little bit more before mainnet, and then also add in, the education. So once we have those pieces done, we're going to launch the education and baskets and the profile NFTs all at the same time on mainnet.
Okay, so I have to be, what's the top level
for profiles?
Yeah. Like I just saw somebody comment like, "Woo, I've got plenty of time to get my profile to level 10." Is that the top?
Yes, that's the top level currently. There's likely going to be around 5 more levels on testnet before we close it out. And what's really cool is the level that you get on testnet, you're actually going to be able to transfer over to your mainnet profile NFT. So you're not just wasting your time on testnet. The only thing that's not going to transfer is the actual name itself, because people need to get that on mainnet. But your level will transfer, your unlocks will transfer, and then also the airdrop on this one is gamified. The higher level that you get, the more airdrop tokens that you're going to get in your Cardano wallet on mainnet once we launch the platform.
Oh shit! Okay, so you're gonna basically, okay. So what's the NFT? So I get the NFT, and then that's on my. Is it like a testnet NFT that I'm leveling up?
Yes.
Okay. And then
that
that gets
testnet
converted into mainnet.
Yes. The only thing that won't convert is the actual name of the NFT itself, but we're using CIP68, and it essentially allows you to store data on chain in a smart contract. So our smart contract mints this NFT for you, and then one soul bound NFT stays in the contract that has all of your data for the NFT. So when you come to Atrium on mainnet and mint your new mainnet NFT, we'll take all of those datums from testnet and apply it to your mainnet NFT.
Okay. All right. I get it. All right. So I need to get one of those testnet NFTs and start leveling it up. And it's almost like an Airbnb for everything that you're doing until you move into your new home. Mm-hmm. So I gotta level up that Airbnb. And I also saw somebody make a comment about how the resistance at 45 cents in Cardano is brutal. And I saw something that was talking about the 45, like somebody had just laid down like a wall of resistance at 45 cents. And I'm like, I wonder who did that. I can't help but feel like somebody is intentionally trying to suppress the price of Cardano. And I wish there was an easy way of tracking who that is in their wallets, and because I do think that somebody is taking profits from something else. I'm not going to say however they're getting it, manipulation or otherwise, on a grand scale, buying Cardano at lower marks, and then they're trying to put up these resistance walls to suppress the price. Because I know that Cardano moves in its own way, and it typically pumps really hard, by itself. You know what I mean? When everything else is kind of slowed down and chilled out. But I'm like, should it be really suffering right now at 45 cents? And I did read that there was a substantial 45-cent wall, and like, who would be intentionally trying to dump a large whale wall at 45 cents at this point in the market? It doesn't make any sense unless they're intentionally trying to make Cardano look like But once that's gone, once that's burned through, then we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't mind doing like a deep dive into that order book wall, see what's actually happening, when we could burn through it based off of current volume, and like where the price might go if that buy pressure continues beyond that wall. That would be something really good for somebody to do if I don't get around to it. But anyway, so you've got 2 or 3 months, and then what other sorts of, do you have any other sorts of partnerships or anything else going on with this thing?
So the biggest partnership is the partnership with Dex Hunter, because they're going to launch the second basket, and we're in talks with 3 other, large platforms, existing platforms on Cardano, to launch their own basket. But these profile NFTs, and in a minute you can try to mint one now. They're already available on there, and you can mint, the one that you're going to use to start leveling up. But these profile NFTs are actually going to be ways for projects to bring more users to their platform. Because of the easy to use nature of Atrium, you're going to have a lot of users on Atrium in 6 months, and projects are going to be able to come in, create a project NFT, a project profile, and market their existing platform on it. So we are kind of reaching out to a lot of projects right now and saying, hey, reserve your project profile NFT, because essentially each of these NFTs are actually going to be a profile that lives in Atrium. Right now, it's just an NFT that you can customize and level it up, but eventually it's going to be a profile that lives in there. And we're not really trying to reinvent the wheel here. What we'd like to do is aggregate existing platforms that people already use, like Twitter, or like the social platform that you're building. You could put your post directly in Atrium from your platform and kind of drive more people, over to SoBlocks. And that's kind of our goal. Make Cardano easy, gather a lot of users, and then bring them to Cardano projects to really grow this ecosystem.
I'm minting it right now, but I didn't want to show it in case it showed something like. Dude, that is badass. Like, seriously, like nobody got to see like everything that I did. This was super freaking easy. But the way that just kind of revealed itself was slick as hell.
Yeah, that box took a little bit, but so that background that you got, you actually get them at random. So there's a bunch of other ones that you can get, but all the other backgrounds you can unlock and unlock now by leveling up. So if you go to view profile and rewards, you'll start to see some of those different challenges there. And this is something that we'd like to open up for everybody. Oh, we got to wait on the blockchain a little bit. It checked for your NFT and it said no NFT. So we're wait probably 10 seconds on the blockchain.
It did change my so it does show me as Crypto Crow at Crypto Crow with the little avatar I selected so far.
It should be good now. Try view rewards.
View rewards. Dude, this is cool as shit. So okay, so the challenges. This is really gamified. So connect your Twitter account, reply to one Atrium post. Man, I wish I would have built something like this. This is insane, dude. So Discord and Atrium, stake to a pool with Atrium. So basically all of this stuff is on testnet. So nothing is like a mainnet commitment, but you're basically leveling all this stuff up. And then you're basically running through all like the seasons. So like each background is relevant to a season, almost like in Diablo or something.
It's exactly like that. So like there'll be backgrounds that you can only unlock on testnet. And once mainnet comes around, there'll be like time periods of say maybe 3 to 6 months where that's all you can get. And they're all kind of tied into the datums on your NFT. So, if you have 15 different backgrounds, you can go change them at any point. And where it's going to get cool is when there's even more customization options. Right now, you're just changing the background and the badge of your NFT. Eventually, you'll be able to like change a widget on your profile that's maybe the SNEC price because everybody loves SNEC and that's what you want to display on your profile. Or maybe show your favorite NFTs on there as well while aggregating in maybe your Twitter posts.
How does this know what I'm doing though? So okay, so I'm connecting my Twitter. I'm assuming I'm connecting that through an API in Atrium so that it knows what I posted, and then there's something in there that says, "Oh yeah, you completed this task." So is that how it works with Discord and Twitter?
So and then Discord is a little harder. We had to build a Discord bot that kind of tracks all of this and sends the API to the thing that can actually update the NFT. But yeah, same thing. We built a Discord bot. We actually wrote some code that could kind of analyze this on Twitter. And then all of the on-chain stuff, your wallet's connected to it. Where that profile lives is in a wallet. So we can just kind of watch that wallet and also kind of take some feedback from the front end as the user uses the platform.
Dude, this is some of the coolest shit I've seen in a long time. Like, even if it's just, I mean, this is all testnet, obviously, but this is the, when we talked the first time, I didn't fully understand how cool this shit was going to be.
Yeah, like, it's kind of a lot to bite off at first.
When you see it, so there's my unique NFTs, one different collection. And then it shows it all right here. This is insane, man. I love this. I'm surprised you didn't create this all as like your own wallet rather than connecting into another wallet. Why you didn't just build a wallet and then start generating revenue from those transaction fees as well.
Yeah, I mean, we would like to do a wallet at some point. There are just there's a lot of wallets on Cardano, and they're actually starting to get pretty good. You got Jero, Vesper, Eternal, etc. And I think the future, Atrium will likely be a browser wallet and a mobile wallet, but we're still going to allow other people to connect their favorite wallet in, because we don't want to limit anybody from the education features or staking baskets or profiles.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, hell, man, I'm all about this. I'm gonna play with this. I just got back into. There's so many different things I've been doing today, but I'm definitely gonna bookmark this, especially now that I'm all set up. Excuse me. Is there anything else that you want to like touch on?
This is honestly the best time to be involved with Atrium. We're not charging any money. You essentially get free money from the sky for trying out the platform. And, I think the vision is finally here. You see profiles now, you see staking baskets, both of the smart contracts are hooked up, and we're really in that final 5% of polishing everything, building a strong community. And, our Discord's over 6,000 people now. And what this has proven to me, you brought up kind of someone, targeting Cardano's price, and they've done that with narrative for years. They've said a lot of things that aren't even true about Cardano, and a lot of people just believed it because it's been said so much. And,
Right.
If I would have launched this anywhere else, I wouldn't have been able to have 6,000 testnet users in 3 months. Cardano is a thriving community, and from a value investing standpoint, or even like a value investing, but kind of from a builder standpoint, Cardano is the place to build. There are thousands of people. We are number 3. The only thing that is close to us is Solana, and the culture over there is quite a bit different. But in terms of, a financial operating system for the world with a large community that cares and uses products, we're number 3. And the only thing that's bigger than us is Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they've been around a bit longer. And, seeing people show up and use this platform and the love and care that's gone into, people helping us, giving us feedback, giving us ideas, it just shows where this ecosystem's going. We are in 2020 right now. We're in that period where everyone's a little nervous, things are kind of low and we don't know what's going to happen. And, a year from now, we're going to look back at this time as like, the golden days of, 2024.
It's so true.
And
people do not realize the state we're in right now, especially those of us that have been in Cardano for so long, really riding the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows, fighting off the trolls and the, like, I've been working on a line of like Cardano based merch lately, and I'm gonna have one that represents. I've got one of the molten tar monster, with Charles, you would refer to that one special friend of everyone's. And then I'm gonna have like the Ada trolls and like all these different people like represented as like comic book characters. And then I'm gonna have like kind of an animated thing that's going on, all the different characters on these shirts and things that brings it all together. Just kind of a fun little passive thing that I work on at night. But it's like all the trolls, man, like how the communities had to fight off so much nonsense and bullshit over the years of just projects that feel threatened by Cardano, and it's funny because too, I see a lot of people that they hold on to the narratives, most of which are bought and paid for narratives in the media, the crypto media about, Cardano is, Cardano, nobody builds on Cardano. There's no transactions on Cardano. It's slow. And it's all like whatever they could come up with in favor of whatever they hold. And then it's like when Cardano takes a giant leap forward, which is kind of what it does, right? It kind of like leapfrogs over things over and over, every new milestone, every big update. And then those people have nothing else to say. Like there's just, you know what I mean? Inch by inch, it's just kind of taking over all of the little nuances of other projects and doing it better in a more secure way. And I think that people are learning. They're definitely learning, but they're still fighting, so
yeah.
It is what it is. But that's cool. I just clicked that to copy. Dude, this is really a cool platform, man. I'm what other things, I'm curious, like what other things are in the works for this? Like, like what happens in 6 months?
So the next big thing is, I mentioned it a little bit, the profiles, actually being able to follow people as well. One thing that we're going to introduce is also staking to profiles as well. And this is some alpha here. I don't think I've said this before, but imagine you are advertising Atrium, and what you're saying is, hey, come use a staking basket or come stake your Atrium tokens, to my profile. The Atrium is going to be governed by a DAO. So the DAO is going to have to vote on this. But what I would like to see, and what I would vote for within the DAO, is people that stake Atrium tokens are getting revenue from staking baskets and profile mints. And then the people that are being staked to are getting a percentage of that as well from the delegates. So in the same way, you can be a Cardano stake pool operator and process transactions. You could have an Atrium profile and gather delegates by adding value to the platform in terms of marketing, and then starting to get some of that, protocol revenue from baskets and profile NFTs as well. So that's huge. That's kind of when it becomes this circular self-marketing ecosystem. And, the next big thing as well is staking basket DAOs. So right now, the way it works is, diffusion is going to be governed by the Atrium DAO. The Atrium token holders are going to choose who it's staked to, what the rewards are, what the fee is. And in the future, we're going to have a couple of buttons that you can click where you can create your own staking basket DAO that is governed by a token of your choice. So, let's say we'll use MinSwap as an example. They have all of these liquidity pools that are in ADA. And when you deposit ADA into a basket, you get a derivative token. And that token is equal to 1 ADA plus the staking rewards. So imagine a world where DEX liquidity pools are actually using baskets and delegating to all of these different stake pools at the same time and earning additional tokens for the liquidity pool providers. And then the person that's providing liquidity, they don't even know about it. They're just providing liquidity like normal. And then instead of just earning, maybe Min token plus ADA for the fees, now they're actually earning Min token plus ADA for the fees, and then earning the Atrium DAO token, or a different one is earning maybe the Dex Hunter token as well. So there, is opportunities here with basket DAOs to kind of increase, the revenue for liquidity providers on lending platforms or DEXs. And right now is, this is MVP. So there's really a lot of room for us to grow over the next 6 months.
I'm actually a little more excited about this than I was the first time we talked, but it's been a while. So, at the time I didn't really have much to look at either, but now I'm already level 2. So next level is 300 points. I'm going to see how much I can get this puppy leveled up. I'm going to have some fun with this, and I'll be sure to start showing it to folks here and there as I continue moving up the ranks and leveling up my my little account here on Atrium. So we've got 2 or 3 months until this kicks off. I definitely plan on launching a stake pool basket and seeing what I can do with that, because if I can give out crow tokens and just kind of have some fun with that, then I definitely, and I love the pyramids. Like, I love the pyramids. I love the caps. I love how it's almost like you can see like the gold capstones and all that. And it's almost like a little bit of conspiratorial for all of us little tinfoil hat crazies out there that think they're used for weird shit. So what happened to my voice? Somebody just said, Crow, what the F happened to your voice? Is my microphone weird? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it sounds pretty normal. Are all of these Solana maxi YouTubers paid to talk shit about ADA? Because it sure seems like it. To me, so I never used to pay much attention to Solana, to be honest. And until I started noticing that every time I saw a paid advertisement on like Crypto Panic or any of these aggregators, that often you have to like scroll all the way to the bottom to see it. But it would say, this is a paid advertisement. This is a sponsored article or whatever. And I would see those pop up more and more all over the place. And I realized that a lot of the narrative built around Solana was ultimately paid for. And I see it primarily in the meme coin market. And the thing is that a lot of paid advertisements in crypto always reference Cardano because it's the one project everybody looks at. It's the one project everybody cares about. Whether you love it or you don't, you always pay attention. And they use that. They use it because I was doing some research on even Google alerts. If you set up a Google alert for Cardano news, you'll notice that you see a lot of shit in there, because all of these companies try to include Cardano as a tagline or a keyword or something in their article, because they want the community to see it. And a lot of the narratives in these articles are, this X, whatever the latest shitcoin rug pull is outperforming Cardano in the last 24 hours, stuff like that. It always kind of tries to push Cardano down while it's raising up some random shitcoin. And then you go all the way to the bottom of it, and it says, this is a paid advertisement. And so I started basically going for Solana to combat a lot of these false narratives that are constantly coming out. And so now it's just kind of a back and forth. And the problem is that even people like me ultimately got sucked into this back and forth thing, always keeping Solana somehow relevant in an ecosystem that, fundamentals should rule. But instead now Solana, the meme coin ecosystem that it is when it's operating, has become a part of every conversation. So it's like, congratulations to them. They I don't know how much money that cost them, but that's where it's at. And so now you have all of these paid influencers that are always making all this money. They're always making all this money on, promoting the latest meme coin or the latest Solana app to trade meme coins, or the meme coin bots. Or it's just like the ecosystem is so well funded. But here's the one thing that people don't seem to realize. Cardano hasn't really done any marketing to date. You can't market a decentralized protocol, a decentralized layer 1 blockchain, if you've got funds coming from a central system or a central entity, because then that marketing appears as though it's trying to increase the value of an asset. And it all makes sense now, because now the chain hard fork is coming right around the corner in a matter of weeks. It's going to launch in August. Now that we have that happening, what we're going to see is we're going to see that 1.5 billion ADA Treasury unlock. At the same time, I can see Cardano being somewhere around the 90 cent to $1 range by the end of August, based on everything that happens with Chang and the convention and just all the stuff that's going on around it. And then what? Now you've got $1.5 billion in a treasury that's been unlocked and basically released to the Cardano community to start voting on what happens. So now we're going to actually have marketing dollars we've never had before. Everything that's happened in Cardano to date has been on its own merit. No paid narratives, no paid marketing, no paid influencers, none of that. So we've been competing this entire time based on merit alone. Now what happens when we have a marketing budget that we can then start screaming from the rooftops officially in big, big ways, everything that Cardano is now capable of after everything it's accomplished and all these milestones since 2017. I don't think there's going to be a competition left to be had, and these bullshit narratives popping up all over the place with lesser projects are going to start really feeling the burn. And I think everything that they're doing right now is just in preparation for that. That's all I got to say about that.
I agree with you completely. And I think a lot of people are focused on the short term, and it makes sense. The world's in a weird place right now. It's, everything's more expensive, and you kind of need cash quickly for your family.
Uh-oh. Is that a disc plate?
See if it got hurt.
It looks okay.
Yeah, it looks fine. I got nervous there.
I didn't hear any shatter. I have these disc plates. Well, not in this office, but in the other room, I have all these disc plates everywhere, and they tend to fall down a lot because they come with the little magnets on the back that stick to the wall. And in Florida, it's always so hot. So it kind of like melts the glue on those little stick magnets. And then the damn things, because those are heavy. I mean, those are probably, I don't know, a pound or two each for a picture.
Yeah, I need to get some more support for it because I only have like 2 screws holding it up, but I'm going to have to do something else. So I was talking about people, being focused on the short term because they don't really have this long-term vision. And when it comes to marketing and building an audience, I'm sure you've learned this over the years, but the content that you create attracts a certain type of audience. And if you change your audience or your content, you're going to attract a different type of audience. Now, look at like the message that Cardano has put out there over the years, right? Look at the type of audience that Cardano has actually attracted. And we look at these short-term trends like meme coins or like what's happening with Solana. And you look at that culture there, you look at the audience that's been attracted. They came there for quick money. Meme coins are most of the time just gambling. And because they have this culture of making money, as soon as they realize what Cardano has to offer, our culture, the foundation of being a global financial operating system and building platforms that actually add real value to the world, that's going to stick around and that's going to be here for the next 10 years and become very fruitful. But these short-term things, because that culture is based on making money quick, as soon as they realize that, Cardano is worth 4 times less, but has just as big of a community and these people are engaged, I think that culture can very quickly shift over here without losing that solid foundation that I think is going to have a much more fruitful impact, on a 5-year timeline. So, don't always focus on what's happening, in the past 3 months and kind of think of, 4 or 5 years away. There's this guy that I know named Phil. He runs this company called Anastasia Labs, one of the smartest guys I've ever met. And, you talk to this guy about Cardano and, you just become more and more bullish every time you talk to him. He explains to you UTXO, and he talks about ZK rollups, and he talks about, the Plutus smart contracts and how these 3 things can actually achieve scalability that can't be done anywhere else, and he explains it in a way that I understand. And, he talks about where Ethereum's at and where Solana is at and really paints this long-term picture that, what Charles was saying in 2017 of, focus on the solid foundation and then the scaling will come. If you have an already decentralized blockchain, Phil explains to me, he's actually working on doing this. He was just funded in Catalyst yesterday for bringing rollups to Cardano, and I know he'll do it. But he makes me bullish, man. Cardano does have a very good solution for the trilemma, and we're going to see the scaling we need over the next 2 years.
Yeah, man. I need to have that guy on and talk to him too. That sounds pretty good. I'm gonna have to dig him up. Cardano will be the first digital nation this year. Absolutely. I've actually been saying, and I'm not saying it out of spite. I know some people think I do. I'm not saying it out of spite, but I honestly believe that this is going to be the last big market cycle for Solana because its entire ecosystem is built on rug pulls and scams. And it's like, because of the number of people that are making money with them, if you look, and I'm seeing a lot more exposés coming out on Twitter, it seems like a lot of for whatever reason, it seems like the people that really do these big deep dives into Solana and like how it got to where it got and like basically all of the red flags and this and just everything associated with like kind of the dark underbelly of Solana, they're all putting this stuff out on Twitter, not YouTube. And I don't know why. But there's some big stuff that I just saw something else that it's a big thread put out by somebody. And I'm like, man, I won't even get into it here, but it's kind of mind blowing. And I'm like, how long can this actually sustain itself? Because it doesn't
especially
seem like anything with long-term legs.
Especially when you see like very large people in the world, people that are world known launch a meme coin and it's just a pump and dump.
Right.
You think if anyone's going to bring in users or anyone's going to build like a sustainable thing, like Jason Derulo, for example, like he is world known. The ladies love him.
You're a programmer when you refer to Jason Derulo as Jason.
Oh, yeah.
There's something non-developers. I'm not either, but I deal enough with it. Jason, I'm like, okay, you're still stuck in programmer mode, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Jason.
But yeah, what about Jason Derulo? I don't even remember. I don't even keep track of what any of these celebrities do because it's just like, knowing damn well somebody's paying them or incentivizing them to allow them to build something, to basically rug pull people. And then they're all acting shocked and surprised when it goes downhill. I don't understand how people can be that stupid.
people don't realize, like, when you launch an NFT project or a token, like, you're signing yourself up for years of responsibility or everyone's going to hate you. And I often look at these celebrities that have pretty easy lives and see them launching a meme coin. And I'm like, that is like the worst mistake that you could have ever made. And, CoffeeZilla, essentially pointed out Jason Derulo, and, he was just paid a bag to launch this token. It pumps
There
in,
you go. I didn't even know that. Yeah.
yeah, pumps, dumps, and then here he is, in a Twitter space with trying to clean everything up, and you have like CoffeeZilla joining and like attacking him, and it's good. It was good, kind of drama, but I hate that this is like what most people see about crypto is FTX and these pump and dumps, and it's unfortunate.
And that's sad because it's in some aspects of it. It's projects like Solana that are buying these narratives, or whether it's Solana directly or projects on Solana, right? I'm sure it's probably some kind of combination of both, probably more leaning towards the degen projects building on Solana that are doing a lot of this paid stuff. And it's disgusting because right now, one of the most popular ecosystems is one fundamentally built around greed and depravity. It's like these meme coins are specifically established to, it's hard to explain, but it's like when I watch all these videos about like the Solana trading bots, the Solana meme coin bots, sniping meme coins for profit, all this stuff, right? It's all built around the idea that you're going to throw $100 into a bunch of projects. One of them's going to go to the moon and you're going to get out with this bot before it rug pulls. It's terrible that like people are being trained that this is a normal expectation in blockchain. And so when they lose their money, they're almost being programmed in a sense because of all this money in the sky that eventually you're going to fall into. And it's just all of the narratives related to this economy, this ecosystem is trash. And it's training people to basically ignore fundamentals in real world use case in favor of like this degenerate gambling mentality that only burns pretty much everybody. And it really makes me sick. And it's a part of why I am so averse to Solana, even though number go up and it's fun to trade with and it's fun to horse around with. It's like all of it. And that's if it doesn't shut down at random for a week. That's if all of the different issues. My hope is that there is a transition at some point where these people that are passively being educated, because I almost look at it as like the current political climate, right? You've got this group of people that are basically being bought and paid for through paid narratives, any way you slice it, right? The media, they're being paid to say this and say that and to go along with this group or that group. And you've got half the population. I don't even think it's half personally, a fraction of the population. It's made to look like half. But they buy into a lot of this stuff because they don't have the time to really invest in understanding what's really going on behind the scenes or beneath the headlines. And then, enough bad shit happens that people start to wake up and say, oh, wait a minute. This is not in line with what I've been told this whole time. And I think I am going to start looking a little deeper into what's going on. And so people that are ultimately being programmed to accept this like degenerate ecosystem built on a competitive blockchain, everybody's being told this is the way to go. This is the way to future of financial freedom. You're going to make all this money. And once they've lost enough money playing in this, my hope is that enough of them have been passively educated about Cardano, the big bad man, right? That they're going to say, okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and start focusing on Cardano because of XYZ and all of these other narratives that got me into crypto just aren't real. And so I'm going to start focusing on more fundamental assets and use cases that are actually going to help the world instead of hurt it. And that's my hope. And hopefully that happens before the end of the year.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing this big shift in American culture. If you look back at 2019 and 2020, it was it felt bleak. It felt like, am I the crazy one? What is going on here? And then in the past couple of years, you've slowly watched the culture kind of shift to maybe not believing what anyone tells us and kind of, opening our mind to like how we've been lied to. And I think that we'll see that same shift in cryptocurrency. I think we'll have a shift away from this short term, quick money making to kind of long term value. And, anyone that I've seen make a lot of money on crypto, of course, I've seen a few people, do well on a meme coin or an NFT, but they got lucky. Really the only sure way that I've seen is DCAing slowly on a 3 to 5 year timeline into solid layer one blockchains, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, even Solana, Algorand's like, but investing in these brand new meme coins. What has sickened me about it is the people that are sitting up there at the top of a Twitter space and telling hundreds of people this thing's going to go to 1 billion, this thing's going to go to 1 billion, when they know that they're going to sell it at 50 million and dump on every single person that they were just telling, hey, come buy this thing. It makes me sick, because these people are new and these people are coming into this because they probably need money. They need a benefit to their life. And instead of, holding their hand and showing them how they can bring value to their family and their life, you're coming in and just stabbing them in the back,
Exactly.
and it's unfortunate.
What don't you see on Cardano meme coins? Things like Snack and Hosky and even Crow token, even though my Crow token is just a funny thing. Like it's never meant, it is what it is, right? But you never see anybody out there like, you're going to get 100x on this. Is this going to pump tomorrow? You better get your whatever token now. You don't see a lot of that shit. A lot of the meme tokens that I see on Cardano are really about just generating memes and having a good time in the ecosystem that it's a part of. And that to me is what a real meme token is. You know what I mean? And then if use cases come, that's cool, but it's not bent on you're going to get rich tomorrow buying some of these and, you got to buy them now. And then, they're always rugging. And yeah, a lot of them, like with mine, and I think some others, I fronted all the money for the liquidity. I locked that shit up for 100 years. Like it's like there's nothing I couldn't rug it if I really wanted to, and I had to buy my own token back from the protocol I funded to start to begin with. So I'm basically I donated everything for this shit coin that does nothing other than I considered it like a legacy token, right? It's like maybe someday it'll become a whole bunch of cool, fun stuff for a bunch of people, and everyone will remember me when I'm long gone. Like that's really why I started the whole thing. And
I think that's the important part. The fact that you had to buy it back. Like it was essentially fair to everyone at the start. And JPEG.store, they're actually launching a pump.fun on Cardano. But from what I've read, there could be more to it. It's going to be similar to how you just, said that. It's going to be a fair playing field, at least at the beginning. And, so
and then I will be all over it. I'll be all over it because that's a big deal. And there does need to be something like a pump.fun on Cardano. But I think with projects that are a little more vetted and a little more realistic and not as scammy. But, we'll see. I'd love to see something like that happen. I mean, I know pump.fun. I've been seeing ways that people are like milking these meme tokens under the radar. And I think I bookmarked a thread because I was going to potentially do a video about it. The problem is, man, it's difficult for guys like me because a lot of people think that everything I say against Solana or that ecosystem is just because I'm a Cardano guy. But if I didn't hold any crypto at all and I was seeing this shit, I would be doing I do less content about those dark, bad things because I'm a Cardano guy. You know what I mean? I want to be doing a video. There's probably a video a week that I would love to dive into, but I don't because I don't want it to be like I'm always at war. I'm just trying to keep people's minds open to the reality of what's going on and then not be sold on these BS narratives all the time because so many people get caught up in them. But I'm like, I wish that the Solana influencers would take a more proactive approach to being honest with their viewers about what's really going on. Instead, they're always like, Solana's going to the moon, Solana's going up. Another day, Solana's going up. But they don't address any of the issues on it that are ultimately going to cause it to crash down at some point. And, to me, the only real question is when is that going to happen? And when it does happen, how many people are going to have a real rude awakening to that And then what happens with those people then? Do they then go over and realize, oh, Cardano was the right choice from the beginning, I'm going to go there now? Or are they going to say, all of crypto is terrible, look at all this shit that happened to me, even though in reality they bought in because of greed, they were sold on these ideas because of greed? Or, and especially now with the Bidenomics or whatever you want to call it, just the sheer desperation, how the prices of everything have been skyrocketing and everything has gotten so much more difficult on people. And they're just, everybody's looking so hard for a way to make extra money. And, you know, I just hope it works out for everybody. I hope every shit coin out there just gets a crazy pump and everybody's able to get out of a lot of the shit they're holding. And you know, and hopefully change their lives and then hopefully become much more educated the next time around without being hurt. But
me too. I mean, I'd rather, you know, 1,000 people make 10,000 or 100 people make, you know, $10,000 than me make a quick million. And, you know, when you're kind of new to being an influencer, you know, Solana is still pretty new. It's fresh. It's honestly surprised me of how well it's done with its, you know, early start with FTX and it kind of going down and crashing. But when you're new to this, you don't realize that people kind of just blindly follow you. You know, if you are on the TV or you're on the screen and maybe you're sitting next to somebody that they value and respect, you know, some people just blindly follow whatever you say. And, you know, that has always kind of worried me. And I see, you know, these large influencers, just because they have a big number, people are blindly following them into things that are detrimental. And, you know, I think they'll learn, but, you know, I think that the culture will shift. You know, I think that greed aspect, people are going to find, you know, ways to be greedy on Cardano and come over here and then kind of buy into the long term. I mean, I personally got into this space in 2016, 2017 because I wanted to change my situation. And then it almost switched, right? It almost became more around philosophy and kind of beliefs about the world and self-sovereignty. And then also the worry of the inflation, you know,
Right.
before Biden was around, but, you know, the worry of Bidenomics that was coming in the future. So, you know, I think people will shift. It's going to be 50-50. I think some people are going to just give up and be done with this because I've met them in person that have done that. And others are just going to keep looking or keep searching because there's something here.
Well, regardless of the intent for anyone getting into the blockchain space, it's to me, and it's just like AI. You either start learning about it, you start getting comfortable with it, learning how to use it to benefit you in your life today so that you're not completely lost tomorrow, because all of this stuff is transitioning to take over everything we know. And by 2030, this is all going to be household, you know, and on every level. Whether you're talking crypto, you're going to be using it. AI, you're going to be living with it. Like all of this stuff, it's still all so new. But between now and 2030, depending on how far we get in a lot of the agendas that are playing out right now, some of them will be thwarted and will be sent back to like the real way of doing things. Some of them are going to be perpetuated ad nauseum, and we're going to see a really big transition from where we're at today and where we're going to be then. I mean, robots are going to be a big deal. I mean, there's so many major changes are going to be happening. And you know, I always try to encourage everybody to just get ahead of it as best you can, dabble in it, start learning what you can, you know, because I think honestly, that's the difference between some of us influencers, quote unquote influencers. I always refer to myself as an educator because influencer just sounds like, hey, I'm not pretty enough to be an influencer. I have no ass. So there's no pictures on Instagram of that. You know what I mean? I think educator, because we are typically the people that dive into things before everyone else does, learns about them, and then teaches, which influences other people to get involved. And, you know, now's the damn time, because now things are still learnable. You know what I mean? I almost feel like it's the difference between learning HTML back in the day of GeoCities and then trying to learn JavaScript, you know, a couple of years later. You know what I mean? It's like, how far advanced do you want things to get before you just absolutely have no chance of catching up? And so, yeah.
And we may be getting there. You know, we get so used to, you know, our life circumstance. You know, if you make double the money, you get used to it in a few months. And, I think people are like that in Cardano right now. Everyone, not everyone, but some people are complaining, and I think that they shouldn't be about things, because if you look back 3 years ago, we didn't have smart contracts, we didn't have X, Y, and Z, and right now the German government is selling Bitcoin. They did a buyback. You have El Salvador, you have all of this stuff. Like, crypto is mainstream, and there's not that many years left where you can kind of get in, before the herd ultimately, because we're going mainstream. You have governments buying and selling it. It's going to be a part of policy in the future. There's going to be politicians running on it, as a big piece of their campaign, and we're getting there. I think 4 years from now, like the next cycle, Cardano is starting to be kind of a household name, but 4 years from now, everyone will know what Cardano is and Bitcoin is, and it'll be a part of many people's portfolios. You mentioned Stake with Pride earlier. He made a tweet yesterday, so big shout out to him, about one of the parties that has a Bitcoin ETF, brought up Cardano, and that's soon gonna be one of their options as well, and that's where things are going. It's a lot of people.
I will say, I hope I don't personally want a Cardano ETF. I know everybody thinks it's going to send the price to the moon, but I don't want any of these woke ass institutions gobbling up the majority of circulating supply and being able to influence the democracy that is being established. Like, I just don't want that, because before long it's going to be like, Cardano's only going to buy advertising on DEI approved platforms, and like, I don't know, man. It's just like the crazy shit that stems from some of these people. I don't want that influence, overtaking the real people that are involved in the economy here. So it's like, and I think that this is kind of a part of the trade. Like, how much are you willing to give up for the potential of profit, or even short-term profit? Because you can see now there are a lot of companies, Microsoft, what was the other one? They're all laying off their DEI departments, because it's obviously not working. It's not working for anybody. It's not working socially. It's not working economically. It's not working for anyone. Get rid of it. And some of these big companies are now. And it's like, I don't want to see something that I consider to be one of the purest blockchains out there suffering from these ideologies that do nobody any good, and ultimately influencing things in a negative way. I can live without it. I think Cardano's moved up past $3 on its own merit before it was even a finished blockchain. I'm quite confident it's going to do well. Once Chang hard fork finally launches and the scalability and everything starts improving over time, and it's no longer a question of what is the blockchain going to be capable of or do, but how much better can it get? So that's what I'm waiting on.
It worries me too, and it was crazy for me to watch all of the Bitcoiners celebrate it. Like, I kind of got a little bit of hype as well, but it's completely against what crypto was started to be. The idea of self-sovereignty, self-custody, and what people don't think of is, while it may be good for short-term price movement, there's a fee, a holding fee on all of these ETFs. So if you're having $100 billion being held in ETFs, 1% of that is going to be taken out a year and sold on the open market. And then when you have Cardano, it's even more worrying because of governance, proof of stake, and at least with the Bitcoin ETF, they're not staking it to a stake pool. They have nothing to do with that. So it worries me too. I just think it's inevitable, and I think there's nothing we can do about it.
The fact that you brought that up is actually good, because I have a Bitcoin that I bought on paper. It was originally, so I had, what did I have? I had a 401k. It was a very small 401k for the time I was working in the mortgage business. And this was when I decided to get into crypto. This was back in 2017. And, my wife had her 401k, and she's like, okay, well, I'm going to do the traditional 401k thing. I want to get into the stocks and stuff, and you could do whatever you want with yours. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do the crypto thing. I think this is the future. And this was very, very early on in my crypto venture journey. And I said, well, I said, just put all mine into a Bitcoin. it was GBTC at the time. And I had just under 1 Bitcoin back then. What do I have now? It's down to like half a Bitcoin's value. And
Wow.
I haven't calculated exactly how that all transpired, but I know that GBTC and their fees, however, whatever my financial advisor did there, then that split. And I ended up having, I think it was like 96 shares of this GBTC. And then he converted that into the BlackRock ETF, the spot ETF. And then I got my statement. And it was basically half a Bitcoin. And I'm like, what the fuck happened to I should have a whole Bitcoin. And he's like, what do you mean? He was like, it was only worth like $4,000 or $5,000 when you got it. Now it's worth like 20 something thousand dollars. I'm like, that's not the fucking point. I'm like, I could have just went out and bought a damn Bitcoin with that money and had like almost a whole Bitcoin today worth like 60 grand. And I'm like, where the hell did this all go? So it's just like, to me, that whole thing is a big hustle. All of this ETF bullshit, all of this, like, I'm going to own some crypto on paper. It's like, folks, educate yourself and do it your damn self. That's all I can really say. Hell, by 2030, my financial guy will probably be like, well, it's worth like $50,000, but now you're down to like a quarter of a Bitcoin. And all I'm doing is just fueling them. I'm letting them take their management fees, their finance fee, like whatever fees they're pulling out of that thing every year. And yeah, dude, it's like, whatever, man. Like that to me was just an experiment. And so far, bullshit. It's all, the whole thing is bullshit to me. I think everybody's getting paid off of my back. And because of the value of Bitcoin over the terms, they're able to say, well, look, you're in profit, and it's just like, I'm literally I bought the asset to hold the asset. There's no reason why they should be just milking it for doing absolutely nothing, but whatever.
Yeah. It reminds me of, go ahead.
I was just saying it is what it is, but lesson learned.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. And it's like, you're up in money. It reminds me of what happened with FTX. FTX crashes. All of these people lose all of their crypto, years ago. And, this point where they lost their money, crypto had already been going down for a bit. This is kind of marking, the end of the bull market, at least 3 months before that. And now everybody's getting paid back. I think it's 120% of what they had in FTX, which sounds like a great thing. I'm getting 120% back. But if you look at the times that, everybody lost all their money versus when everybody's getting paid back versus when they're actually liquidating the assets, I mean, it is insane the profit that these lawyers are making or whoever is making it, because they're paying back 120% when Bitcoin was at like 30,000, and look at it now, 64,000, and everybody's getting back 120% in cash.
Right.
So it's,
yeah, I mean, in terms of fiat value, everything is up over where it was in 2017, all through these years. I mean, but I don't know, man. We'll see. I think a lot of big stuff is going to be coming this year for Cardano. I'm excited about it. I'm excited for the launch of Atrium, man. I'm going to have some fun with this test net. I'm glad I got back into it. I'm really glad you messaged me, because I get so caught up in everything I'm doing all the time. And it's just like, and I forget, like, oh yeah, Atrium, I need to check in on that and see how that's doing. It's doing phenomenal, man. I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic. This is, quite honestly, like, no bullshit, this is the smoothest, nicest user interface I think I've ever seen on any blockchain app next to Exodus Wallet. Like, this is just smooth. So, hey, folks, we've been at it for over an hour. BigPey, I appreciate you coming on, man. You're obviously welcome anytime. Let's go over this again once you're getting ready for the big launch. I'm sure I'm going to see you in Vegas. I'm going to see you in Vegas, I'm sure.
Yeah, come by the booth. We got a booth right at the front.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've got a booth for my Wargrim game. We're going to try and release that and do some giveaways and things for starter decks and things for Wargrim. So that'll be cool. And yeah, for those of you guys and gals out there in the world, hopefully we're going to see you guys in Vegas next month. It's Caesar's Palace. I mean, it's going to be a pretty big deal. I know Charles is going to be out there. It'll be the first time I meet Charles in person. So that'll be an interesting time. I'm sure people are going to be taking pictures because I'm probably going to tower over him like he's going to look like my child. So that'll be some interesting photos. Check out atrium.io, folks. This is really cool shit. Like, again, none of this is paid. This is just somebody helping a friend in the space. You know, we've been kind of going back and forth for quite a long time, and BigPey is building some cool shit. So I'm excited for him, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Make sure you check it out. Set up your testnet wallet. It really took me all of 3 minutes. I followed one of their little guides. It wasn't complicated at all. And get involved. Start leveling yourself up. Are you going to get to level 10 before I do? I doubt it, but we'll see. Until next time, guys, BigPey, thanks for joining me. Crow your coins, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you, guys.